Hey everyone, welcome. It's Naomi. And today I want to share with you something kind of different, kind of cool, kind of yoga, kind of movement, kind of all of the above. Okay? So what I want to talk to you about today is how to get up off of the ground without using your hands. Okay? Just using your legs. Okay? Using your legs, using hip mobility, using strength. Okay? So part of this is that it's actually really good to get down on the ground sometimes and sit, right? Like whether or not you are playing with your kids or somebody else's kids, or, you're playing with your grandkids, or, whether you just kind of want to lie down on the floor every once in a while and rest, whether you have kids or not, okay? But being able to get up off the floor is really important, right? Being able to get up and down, to change levels in your body is a really important and useful skill. Okay, but usually we use our hands and we push ourselves up, right? Like we push down, or our hands are behind us and, we use our hands as leverage to get up when really we have a lot of the tools that we need here in our legs, right? And the more we can use our legs for the skill of getting up off the ground, the more we're using our legs actually part of what they're designed for, right? Which is for strength and for movement. So I'm going to show you a couple of really cool ways that you can get up off the ground without using your hands, okay? The most basic way is this one. It's my favorite. So let's say you are sitting on the ground cross-legged or in whatever legged position you're in. Okay, now you could bend your left leg back. Put your right foot in front of your left leg. Okay, so your ankles are crossed, your heel to ankle. And you'd shift forward, turn your left leg back, place your hands on your right leg, and stand up. And you could go down in the same way, right? So you'd put your hands on your thigh, knee down, turn your left foot in, and sit back. Okay, so you can do it the same way. So you might cross your right ankle in, so your right knee is bent. Put your left foot in front of your right foot. You've got to shift forward. So notice I'm using my arms. I'm not just like letting them hang out. Okay, I'm reaching forward like I'm reaching for something I want. Okay, then I'm going to turn my right foot back, my right shin back, place my hands on my left leg, push, and stand up, and then I can come back down in the same way. Turn foot in, sit down, and here I am. Okay, now you don't actually have to use your hands on your thigh. That's just a really good intermediary step before you feel like you have enough strength in your legs. So you could also do it, reach forward, come up, and stand, and sit back down, right? So ankles are crossed, left knee is bent, foot on the floor, right leg behind left, reach forward, turn your right leg back, step into your left leg, come up. Okay, so that's one way. Okay, another way that I like, so let's say you're sitting on the ground, feet are on the floor, knees bent, whatever. You drop your knees over to the right. You'd shift, right? So again, shifting into that bent leg. Then you would step your left foot forward. That was a big sound that might come through my mic. Big step forward with your left leg. Same thing, you're going to turn back. You can use your hands or not. Push up, and then you would come back down the same way. So you'd slide your leg back. All right, so you'd go the other way. You'd turn your knees to the left, shift into your left leg, hips go up, step your right leg forward, turn your left foot back, push and come up to stand. And then you'd come back down in the same way. Left knee goes down, hips would go back, and you'd land back where you started. Okay, so that's another way. Now, a really cool way to get used to coming up is to coming up from a cross-legged seat without having to adjust that, or to come up from a squat. A little bit easier to come up from cross-legged because you can use your ankles to push, okay? If you're not quite ready to get up from there, you could put, and I don't have my blocks with me, but you could put a blanket underneath your hips, and that would give you a little height. I'll show from the side so you can see too there. I've got that blanket underneath my hips. It gives me a little bit more height. So if I press into my feet with my ankles crossed, my butt can go back, and then I can come back down in the same way, right? Now you don't have to use a blanket. It just gives you a little bit more leverage. So if you're not sure you're ready yet, you could put a blanket underneath your hips. You could put a block or two underneath your hips and practice in the same way. So with your ankles crossed, what's really happening is you're pressing your front leg, in this case it's my left leg, back against my right ankle, and I'm even stepping on my bottom foot to come up to stand, and then I can sit down. Okay, now coming up, Okay, those are, like, to me, I think those are some really good ways to start. Coming up with your feet on the floor from a squat, that's a lot harder, right? That takes a lot more work. You got to use a little bit more momentum usually. Make sounds like sound effects to come up. And for some people, it requires like an enormous amount of mobility to come down into that squat. So you might not feel ready to come up and down from a deep squat like that, which is why the crossed ankles is a really great place to start. And ultimately, what you're really trying to do here is to create a little bit more mobility in your hips, right? A little bit more strength in your hips so that you can use them in the way that they're meant to be used, but also so that you are building your ability to have strength in these places for a longer period of time, right? So if you're only getting up and down from a chair, that's kind of limiting the mobility of how far down you can travel and how far up you're going to travel, right? So if there was anything that you're going to do this week, I highly recommend practicing getting up from the ground without using your hands at all. See how awkward it is at first, right? Use whatever help you need at first. Like if you start and you're like, oh God, use your hand. That's okay, right? Like nobody's going to vote you off the yoga island or something crazy like that. All it really is a way to get to know your body better, discover what your capacity is for supporting the weight of your own body, and then increasing it, right? Building on it. So hopefully this has been really useful for you for today. I'd love to hear how this goes for you, how you take this practice into your everyday life. Please let me know how it goes in the comments below. I love hearing from you, and I would also love to hear what else would support you here on this YouTube channel. So, and if you're not yet subscribed, you can go ahead and subscribe in that bottom right-hand corner, and you will get videos like this delivered directly to your inbox every single Monday, totally for free, because I love you and I want you to have more yoga in your life as often as possible. So if you are enjoying this, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, send me an email at naomi@conscioushealthymama.com. I'm like thinking, what else could you do? And as always, thank you for spending a little time with me on your yoga mat today. It is an absolute privilege to share this practice with you, and I look forward to doing it again really soon. Okay, until then, bye.